Hi guys, this is Joe Protocol here, back for another video, and this time I want to cover the topic of transitions. So I would use transitions between either a 4, 8 or 16 bar section of a track, just in order to create something slightly more interesting and kind of break up mostly like 4 bar, 8 bar or 16 bar sections in tracks, just to keep some kind of dynamics in the track. So if you were to have like a 64 bar section of the main section of your track, just completely consistent without any breaks, it can be quite boring for the listener. So you create these breaks and transitions in order to keep things interesting, basically. So let's dive into the video and I'll show you the 4 techniques I use to create transitions. So let's go ahead into the examples. Now, the first example is using a drum break. If you've listened to any of my music, I will often use a drum break, which is different from the main drum break in the loop, to create something different, to almost signal that something new is coming in. So again, I have a drum beat here, which I've made. So we have a 16 bar section here, and this is literally the whole drum loop, and at the end of the 16 we've got a very different break here. So here we go. Now, I don't know the name of this break, but it's quite a common one. I think Dillinger even used this break quite a bit, but as you can tell, it's quite thin. Like, I've cut it quite low with a tiny boost here because I just want to give it that extra texture, and I really want the main kick and the snare from the original loop to carry this, because yeah, somehow if for me, if I'd used the whole drum break, it changes it too much. I just want that slight variation at the end of the 16. So yeah, let's hear this example with the drum break breaking up the sections. And as you can hear, after that, I've got like a kind of percussion loop, a couple loops which I've worked on. So there you go. There's example number 1, using a drum break to break up towards the end of a 16, let's say. So next up we have white noise. So white noise is a really good way to break up a 16 because I don't think there's really an example. There just is. I mean, it's quite a classic EDM and dance style way of breaking things up, but it still works in drum and bass. So I use this quite a lot. So in order to make this transition, this kind of riser, white noise riser, I have the Denise Noise 2. Now, this plugin is what's called an adaptive noise generator. So you can use it to adapt to incoming signals. But there's the option here to turn off the adapt feature, and essentially when you turn off the adapt feature, you just get pure white noise. Like that. So you can essentially just use automation to control this mix, and with the addition of the filters here, it's a really great tool to create these transitions. So I just have the mix control here, creating this riser. Also the high pass filter 2. And there we go. We can even include the drum break from the previous example to make it just that little bit more interesting. There you go. So that is using white noise in order to create a transition. So the third example is using a filter sweep. So this I would usually do 1 or 2 bars before the end of a 16. And the plugin I'm choosing to do this is the FabFilter Volcano. I find this quite a nice filter for these kind of transitions. And what I've done here is I've created a filter sweep where the filter comes down and the peak goes up at the same time. This one was done using automation, and usually I will turn the device on for the length of the filter movement too. Again, we've got that percussion coming in to indicate the next 16, just to kind of keep things moving. So yeah, that's using filter. It's quite easy. You just need to use the frequency and the peak to kind of create this upward motion. Yeah, a nice little transition technique there. And the fourth one, you might think it's a little bit of a cop out, as in like a bit too simple. But I thought I wanted to show you this one as well, just to show you that, you know, you can just use a really simple technique just to create that little bit of extra excitement between 16. But I mean, you can even do this more often between like an 8 or a 4 bar, just to create that sense of almost something's off, like something's different. And the technique is just creating a stop. There you go. That fourth one was very easy, but still very useful. And I quite like to use this one actually sometimes a bit more regularly than some of the others, just to make it more interesting. So there you go. 4 ways you can use transitions to create a more interesting movement in your drum and bass tracks. If you enjoy the videos, please subscribe, hit the like button because it helps other people see these videos. And let's make great drum and bass together.